And welcome back. I'm Casady Christiansen here with my co-host Casey Weaver on GVTV, and we are talking with Scott Smith.
Okay, first of all, Scott, I got to ask you, where did you record that originally, the song Orange Colored Sky you just played for us?
Well, when I was growing up, Casey, I had one of my favorite musician singers was Mr. Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
And he was the first performer that I heard that song from. When I came back to Des Moines, Jim Eckloff and Ross Cornelison and I went into Triad Studios and recorded that song.
Can you tell us about any other albums you recorded over the years and where they took place at? Because I know you've been all over the place.
Well, I was 10 years in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Reno, and Tahoe, that area. And I recorded an album with Bob Florence Big Band at the Universal Recording Studios in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been in the late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back to Des Moines with the trio, and we were at the Captain's Cabin, and that was Dave Julian and Cy Struther, and we recorded a live album at the Captain's Cabin in the early 1970s. In the 1980s, I went to Atlantic City, and there with Kathy Wilson and Vicki Phillips and Lori Lackelt, we did some recording in the Atlantic City area. Then when I came back to Des Moines in 1986, we did a reunion concert at the Civic Center in 1987, and that was a live album also. 1995, was another Civic Center performance reunion concert that we recorded as well.
Out of all the venues you've played in, which one would you say was most desirable for you, that you liked the best? Would you like Des Moines or more LA?
Well, I like it wherever I am. I'm thankful I can get up in the morning and look forward to performing at night or look forward to teaching. I've been very blessed with an opportunity to be in the show business arena for almost 50 years.
So, you've been playing for about 50 years, you said?
I started in 1959 on Rush Street in Chicago.
So what got you started?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story because in the early years of my education, I was going into the ministry. And all of a sudden I got the Asian flu in 1958, and I was no longer draft exempt. In those days, if you were going into a graduate school, into the ministry, you were exempt from the draft. And so when I was no longer exempt, the Army drafted me. So while I was in the Army, I determined that my ministry was going to be music as opposed to standing up in a pulpit and preaching.
Where'd you go to school at?
Well, I went to Roosevelt High School here in Des Moines. Then I went 2 years to Iowa State. And then I transferred to Northwestern because there wasn't enough music at Iowa State at that time. There's a lot more there now. But in those days, the music program, it was Iowa State College instead of Iowa State University. So I transferred to Northwestern and participated in a lot of music at Northwestern, and that was what got me interested in as a professional career.
So when did you get into the Iowa Jazz Hall of Fame?
About 2 years ago. They inducted me into the Iowa Jazz Hall of Fame, and those ceremonies are held at Adventureland.
Oh.
What was that like for you, just kind of the culmination of everything?
Well, it's, fortunately, it's a continuation of, I think that you never stop learning, no matter what you're doing, whether it's music or whether it's television or whatever you're doing. There's always a learning process going on if you're open to that. If you have a desire to learn, you can always get better.
What were the perks that came along with being inducted into the Iowa Jazz Hall of Fame? I hear there was a couple that you had.
Well, they gave us a key to the city, and we had a few dinners and celebrations and that kind of thing.
Recently, everyone knows the Iowa caucuses was a big deal, and I heard you played for a few of the presidential candidates. What was that like?
Well, it was very interesting to get to shake hands with the actual candidates. I played for a reception for Mitt Romney when he was in town, and also Mike Huckabee. And I was supposed to play for Barack Obama, but he got weathered in Ames, and so he never got down here that night for the event that I was supposed to play for. And then it was kind of an interesting story because on Wednesday, my daughter Grace was out of school. And so Grace and I had a whole day together, and I didn't even check my messages. So that night I was supposed to perform at Des Moines Golf and Country Club, and I got out there, and the weather was so bad that they didn't have a single reservation, so they just said, well, you might as well go home. So then I checked my messages, and there was a message from Sam Aurora, who was handling the Clinton campaign here in Des Moines. And there was a rally at the historical building. And so he had left a message for me at noon, and I didn't get it till 7 o'clock, and the rally was supposed to start at 8:30.
Yeah.
So I called him back, and I said, well, I'm sorry I'm so late calling you back, but do you still have have you found anybody? And he said no. So I headed from Des Moines Golf down to the historical building and set up and played for the Hillary Clinton rally.
So obviously you love playing. Do you still play a lot other than
Yes.
just the caucuses?
Well, oh yes. There's a restaurant in West Des Moines called Coach's Corner. Used to be Fratello's, now it's a sports bar, piano bar situation called Coach's Corner, and I'll be there tonight, as a matter
Oh,
of
really?
fact.
Do you
Yes.
play there often then?
Every week, every Tuesday. And then Des Moines Golf and Country Club on Wednesdays and Fridays, and then I teach 2 or 3 days a week, voice and piano, at various venues, and also a lot of private parties.
You've done other things other than just playing music throughout your career. What are some other things you've been into other than just playing music for people to enjoy?
Well, every Sunday at Oakwood United Methodist Church, I direct the praise band there, and that's one of the rewarding things in my life, to be able to be a part of that and worship and get the people involved. That's one of the things that I really enjoy doing. As far as sports are concerned, I've done a few triathlons in my lifetime and a couple of marathons, and I enjoy participating in those, and downhill skiing, etc.
Do you have any plans to stop playing anytime soon, or are you going to just keep on playing until?
You know, I think the Lord will let me know when it's time for me to quit. When people stop coming to see me, when people stop enjoying what I do, then I'll probably realize it's time to fold it up.
Life on the road can kind of be tough. I mean, there's a lot of temptations we see today all the time, celebrities going down the wrong path. What was it with you that managed to keep you still here, still playing, and still doing well? Well,
I was fortunate in that I didn't enjoy smoking. I took a puff of a cigarette, and it was one of those things that I never had any desire to do it. I didn't like the taste of coffee or alcohol, so I was way ahead of the game. I didn't have any of those temptations, if you will. But I saw a lot of my colleagues go downhill and off the trail, as a matter of fact, because of that.
Are any of your kids musically talented that you have over the years?
Yes. My oldest son, Keith, is a guitar player, and he sings as well. He's the praise team director at his church in McHenry, Illinois, which is northwest suburb of Chicago. My son, Matt, is an excellent drummer. When there was a group called the Blues Other Brothers, and Matt was on the road with them for probably 5 years. He currently lives in Burlington, and he plays in a weekend band over there.
So your children are following in your footsteps. Are you proud of them?
Oh, very much so. My daughters are more into dancing. My oldest daughter, Marianne, is the head coach of the Rhythmettes at Southeast Polk High School, and my next oldest daughter, Stacy, is her assistant coach, and she also has a set of triplets. So she's very busy. The Rhythmettes just took the state championship at Vets Auditorium, and then they went this past weekend to Kansas City and took all the awards down there. So they're doing very well this year.
Well, thank you, Scott. This is all the time we have. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Casady Christiansen, and this is my co-host Casey Weaver on GVTV.